Shalom and welcome to Torah Juice. My name's Joshua and I'm going to be your teacher just for a few minutes as I want to speak to you about a very important subject. Something that I have learned pretty recently, even though in my spiritual walk, if you want to say, has been practically all my life. But this concept is incredible because once you begin to understand this concept, you begin to look into this concept and you begin to research and pray about and read and concentrate in the Torah about this concept, it's the key to spiritual growth, emotional happiness, shalom bait, happiness in the home. It's the key to everything. It really is. It's an amazing thing. And the concept I'm talking about is Emuna. And if you want to Google Emuna, okay, E-M-U-N-A is the English transliteration, you might see a definition loosely defined as faith. You think, well, faith is nothing new. Well, that's true. However, Emuna takes on a really much deeper understanding and a deeper definition. What Emuna means, and the basic precept of Emuna, is that everything comes from Hashem. Everything. There's nothing that does not come from Hashem. There's only one power in the world, and that's Hashem. It's pretty simple actually when you think about it. Man has a way of complicating things and making things so obscure and confusing that people don't know which way is up, which way is right, left, or down. It doesn't matter. But this concept seems to erase all of that. What this concept does is it brings together everything. The Torah as a whole, the Tanakh as a whole, the prophecies, everything. Your relationships with other people, your relationships with Hashem. It brings everything into one fluid thing called life. So, what is Emuna? Emuna is the complete belief that Hashem is in control of everything that goes on, and that everything that happens comes from Hashem. As the Rambam states, Hashem did, does, and will do everything. So, He's the only power in the universe. Now, I've had this discussion with many people, and if you've listened to our Emuna series where we're studying the book of the Garden of Emuna by Rav Shalom Arush, translated English by Rabbi Laser Brody. And I must give much credit to them and blessings to Hashem, and may Hashem bless them continuously for discussing and teaching this concept of Emuna. But it's always been there. But this is why we need strong spiritual people in our lives, and Hashem will guide our steps. The Bible tells us He will guide our paths. He will lead us to where we need to be. If you search Him, and you search Him out with all of your heart, He will show you this. So the concept of Emuna, the complete belief that everything happens from Hashem. The problem is us. We are the ones who don't want to believe this, or we give it lip service. We say, yes, everything comes from Hashem, but we still have a choice. Do you not think Hashem knows what choice you're going to make? Does He not? He goes, well, what about people who affect our lives? Do you think He didn't put those people in your life for a reason, to affect a certain decision, to affect your life a certain way? Because if there's another power other than Hashem in this world, there is no Hashem. We know that's heresy. That's not true. So what is the purpose of Emuna? What's the purpose of these things that Hashem sends to us in our life? Only one, which fulfills the purpose that we live for, is to get closer to Hashem, to attach ourselves to Hashem, to learn from Hashem's goodness. And as the Ramchal teaches us, that there is no deficiency in Hashem. He is purely good, and there is no deficiency in Him. Now, you're probably thinking, Joshua, you just told me that everything comes from Hashem. What about the murderers? What about the rapists? What about all of the seemingly evil things that go on in this world? Are those from Hashem? Well, I'll go back to my previous statement. Is there any other power in this world besides Hashem? And you say, well, there's the power of evil. Did the power of evil exist or coexist with Hashem? Or did Hashem create this? Now, the sages teach a good definition of evil. Evil is the absence of Hashem's presence. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's kind of like how Rabbi Brody describes what a sin is. See, we have a neshama. This is the soul that Hashem has put in us. This is our divine spark. This is what Hashem has created in His likeness and given to us. Okay, we all have, if you want to say, the spirit, which gives it the breath of life, but so do animals. But what distinguishes us from animals is our neshama, is this created in the likeness and the image of Hashem. But when you go and sin, you are taking Hashem with you when you sin. And you said, well, wait a minute, God can't sin. Well, God just didn't help you. You chose that you were going to sin, and you took God into that place. Well, because Hashem can't sin, Hashem's not there per se, because you're choosing to sin. So it's evil, it's wicked, it's bad. Okay? So you said, well, what about these things that happened to me? Oh, these things are terrible. What did I spoke earlier? What is the purpose of our lives? To get close to Hashem. And if Hashem does everything, He did, does, and will do everything. So if He does these things, everything comes from Hashem. And our purpose is to get to know Him. And everything that He does is to bring us close to Him. Then your answer is, everything that happens to you is to bring you closer to Hashem. Everything. Even the person who cuts you off in traffic, to some of the most horrific and tragic events that could possibly happen to you. I can't answer the question exactly why it happens to some people and not the others, other than in the concept of Emuna, everything comes from Hashem. Everything is allowed to happen, and if it's allowed to happen, it comes from Hashem. There is no other power. There is none. Okay? Now, here's another concept. And this is the most difficult one, I think. I think it's a lot easier to understand or to believe that everything comes from Hashem. The harder part to discern is, if that's true, should I be thankful? Now there's a concept for you.